Short time ago, we heard from President Biden. He told reporters he has made a decision on how to respond to the drone attack on a U.S. base in Jordan that killed 3 troops. Listen.
Yes. Mr. President, have you hold Iran responsible for the death of those 3 Americans? I do hold them responsible in the sense that they're supplying the weapons to the people who did it. We'll have that discussion. We'll see. I don't think we need a wider war in the Middle East. That's not what I'm looking for.
Donald Trump be allowed on the ballot?
As far as I'm concerned, that's fine.
Why do you need to hold to be the threat to democracy, as you say?
Because guys like you.
What am I doing? Come on.
Jesus, man.
It's early.
Have you done everything you can do with executive authority, or is there more you could do absent
I've done all I can do. Just give me the power. I've asked for the very day I got in office. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people. Give me the people, the judges. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work for us.
And there are some concern in your party about the possible escalation of military involvement in the Middle East.
There's concern. We'll see.
All right. The last question you heard there was being posed by our intrepid White House correspondent, Ed O'Keefe, who's back at the lawn. So let's bring in Ed to talk more about the president's remarks. First, Ed, to the question that you asked the president.
Well, and the last one there about the concerns in his own party about the possible expansion of or escalation of U.S. military involvement across the Middle East. He says, we'll see. You heard him say in response to earlier questions that he's not seeking a wider war in the Middle East, and certainly that would reverse about 20 years of U.S. policy that's been designed to scale back the U.S. military presence in that region, despite the fact that troops are in Iraq in the years following that war there as part of a commitment to the Iraqi government, and then they remain in Syria and Jordan as well as part of the ongoing campaign against ISIS. But the headline out of this conversation he had with us is he has made a decision on how the United States will respond, wouldn't share details of it, and says that while Iran may or may not be directly responsible for it, and it sounds like that's still up for debate, he does hold Iran responsible for supplying the weapon that was used to attack that outpost, Tower 22, there on the Jordanian-Syrian border. We know it is an Iranian-supplied one-way attack drone, similar to the one that they've been supplying to Russia in its war with Ukraine. That obviously troubling because it suggests that Iran is handing these out to all sorts of nefarious characters around the world, and will obviously be part of or a factor in whatever the U.S. response will be. So now we wait and see what exactly that might be and when exactly we may hear that it's happened.
And Ed, was that your voice asking him about the situation at the border?
So, I mean, given that we have but fleeting moments with him usually, and of course with helicopter noise whizzing about us, we try to get in as many different things as we can. You heard one guy ask about whether he thinks Donald Trump should be on the ballot. The president said he's got no problem with it. I asked him to clarify, because there's this ongoing debate about whether or not whoever's president has executive authority enough to essentially seal the U.S.-Mexico border. During the Trump administration, then President Trump and congressional Republicans, including Speaker Mike Johnson, suggested that more legislation was needed to enact the stricter border security measures Republicans prefer. Now, with the shoe on the other foot, former President Trump is saying President Biden can do it on his own. Now, Speaker Johnson is saying the president can do it on his own, and the White House is reading those passwords back to them. So I asked him, just, hey, clear up any confusion here. Have you done everything you can? He suggests he has, and he points out correctly that the first piece of legislation sent to Congress by this White House was a comprehensive border security and immigration reform package that has sit and mostly collected dust up on Capitol Hill ever since. And what he's saying, again, as he has said several times now in recent weeks, is give us that legislation and I will enact various things to, among others, if the deal that is being proposed goes through, shut down the border when certain numbers are met in terms of people crossing over on a regular basis. That is a departure from his past rhetoric on this issue, a departure for a Democratic president, but a signal of the fact that, you know, border crossings are hitting record highs on a regular basis now, and there's bipartisan agreement something has to be done.
And he is traveling to Florida. He's back on the campaign trail.
Anne-Marie, I had one, this was a me issue, not a you issue. Tell me the first part of that question again, sorry.
That he's heading to Florida, correct? And
oh, that's right.
Right.
Yes. Well, it's cold here, so that's one reason to go to Florida today, I suppose. The other reason is that he's holding two fundraisers, one in the Palm Beach, Florida area and one down in Miami. So this is an overtly, explicitly political day for him to these two big fundraisers in former President Trump's backyard. In fact, at Palm Beach International Airport, where his aircraft will land later today, is currently parked the airplane with the Trump logo on it. Just a reminder of what kind of neighborhood he's flying into. Expected to raise a few $1 million in these two events. He's been holding these kinds of fundraisers, usually on the back end of other official visits to different parts of the country, but today a purely political affair. And a reminder that we are in election season. We always are to some extent, but it is ramping up. And part of his regular schedule is going to include making these kinds of stops. He's scheduled to go to Michigan later this week for a campaign appearance there, and there will be others in the coming weeks. Nevada, we anticipate probably in the coming days as well, because of the impending Nevada primary.
All right, Ed.
All right, Ed. Yeah, with that breaking news that the president has made a decision on how to retaliate with regards to those 3 American service members that were killed in Jordan. Ed, thank you.